Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It's the 5th of August, 2026. It's a Wednesday hump day. Don't be a chump and crump day version of the WTF Reports. I'm Dave VonKleist, holding the media's feet to the fire because they lie, and as a result,
you won't be trusted anymore.
All right, are you having fun yet? Yeah. Have you got a big smile on your face? You know, what do they say? Be like 2 fried eggs and keep your sunny side up. Anyway, okay, where do we start today? There are many different things going on many different fronts, and of course, we have a hard time trying to figure out what's real and what isn't because we are all being psyoped, and there's a lot of rabbit trails that are being thrown out there. These are interesting times. Things are really screwed up, and we all know it on many different fronts. But I got to tell you, folks, I can't help but think things are going to come to a head. Now, how they're going to go, I don't know. But I do know that, as Bob Dylan said, you know, the times they are a-changin'. And I'm hoping that after all this fecal matter stops hitting the air circulators, maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just hoping it's not a freight train. But anyway, this broadcast is being brought to you in part by the Wave Watch. If you haven't checked it out, really check it out, folks. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. A pop-up will take you to a place where you can read all about the Wave Watch. It's based upon Rife frequencies. Yeah. And, of course, the frequency is everything, according to Nikola Tesla. But Royal Raymond Rife figured out how to use frequencies, and we're finding out more and more and more about how sound is creation. It determines how cells operate. And this is something that more and more scientists have been experimenting with and finding out, I guess Royal Raymond Rife was right. And so anyway, the Wave Watch is a Rife machine you wear on your wrist. And it has over 1,000 different frequencies that can, I'm not going to say it's going to treat or cure anything, but it can help you in many different areas. So do some research on that, and you just might find that the Wave Watch is something that would benefit you. So go to our website, TheWTFReports.com, click on the pop-up window, and check out the Wave Watch. And if you decide to get one, use the promo code REDPILL101. And yeah, this is a 101 type of a broadcast. I'm not a super deep researcher, but I throw out all the information for you people to do your own research. But anyway, check out the Wave Watch. I think you'll be glad that you did. All right off the bat, I got to tell you, I've been following this Charlie Kirk stuff. So much is starting to come out now about the official narrative is just crumbling. I mean, it's just collapsing. And the reason it's collapsing is because a lot of independent researchers, not your networks, not the FBI, not the DOJ, none of those people are doing real research. But all of the people who have boots on the ground, shall we say, are getting together with all the other deep researchers like Candace Owens and Ian Carroll and many others. And, they're going through their videos that they took when they were at the Losi Center last year when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And they're doing their own research and finding out, some of these people that were here, they were there, and then they were over here, and say, wait a second, who is this guy? Why is this guy up on the roof? Why is it after he's on the roof, he's hanging out down with, what's his name, who was taking the SD cards? His name on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, either way, what's this guy doing on the roof? And then what's he doing hanging out in the area what's his name? Tyler? Oh, gosh. Anyway, bottom line here is that there's a lot of shady crap going on. And a lot of these people who were at the Losi Center are sharing their videos with Candace Owens and others, and they're doing all their independent research. There are legions of people out there digging into this whole thing. And, of course, we all know now when you go back and check out some of the things that Charlie was saying and how damning he was towards Israel. and towards Bibi Netanyahu and towards the entire Zionist movement. And came across an audio clip. I hadn't heard this one before. I've got a bunch of Charlie clips in my archives here, but this is a different clip that I hadn't heard. I'm going to share it with you right now. So anyway, again, Charlie Kirk knew. Maybe that's why they had to take him out.
Charlie, you are no better than a Holocaust denier for saying this. Israeli officials obtained Hamas's battle plan more than a year before it happened. Hamas followed the blueprint with shocking precision. The Israeli government knew. Before America sends another dime to Israel, there better be mass resignations, firings, terminations, and answers. Israel knew Hamas's attack plan more than a year ago.
Wow.
We were right. And we were attacked viciously. Maybe that's why we were attacked viciously.
I had not heard that clip. So, remember when Charlie was said, hey, was there a stand-down order? Was there a stand-down order? Remember when he asked that question? Well, apparently there was, and I've covered this before. And if you want to see, there's a documentary that somebody put out there. It's called Israel was, the attack on Israel was 100% an inside job. And you can find it on Rumble. Watch it. Check it out. There are interviews with IDF soldiers and members of the IDF that basically come flat out and say, yeah, well, we knew. We were told, that something was going to go down, that we were told to stand down. So the point is that there were many, many different reasons why Israeli officials, Bibi Netanyahu and Ben Gvir and all the other people of the Knesset, they were terrified because Charlie was so well heard. I mean, TPUSA was, had millions of students all over the country following Charlie and what he was saying. And, of course, he was drawing attention to the all of the inconsistencies of the October 7th attack. And you'll notice, of course, that all of the officials, and that includes many of our elected officials in Congress and Senate and the Senate, who keep on bleating October 7th, October 7th, October 7th. It's right up there with 6 million, 6 million, 6 million. Holocaust, God's chosen people, God's chosen people. God's chosen people, God's chosen people. October 7th, October 7th, October 7th. And they just keep on going with that. But anyway, that's I think that's a very, very explosive audio clip because Charlie was saying, yeah, they knew. It was planned. And that's what they call a Hannibal directive. So anyway, I always encourage people to do your own research. Do your own research. Now, that, of course, has been, shall we say, adding to the reasons why we are fighting Iran right now. Yeah. Okay, because they've put it out there, October 7th, October 7th, October 7th, Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. Well, it was all a bunch of horse hockey. And now we're in a war with Iran, and it's not going well over there. Regardless of what they tell you on the mainstream networks, it's not going well. And more people are starting to put the puzzle pieces together and understand that for whatever reason, Bibi Netanyahu has been calling the shots and basically coercing or bribing or blackmailing our members of Congress to maintain support for these military endeavors that Bibi Netanyahu wants the United States to fight for them. Now, Josephine Guilbeault, you may recall, she's Air Force, and she has been very vocal against this entire debacle. I don't know what else to call it. Total farce of a war. But anyway, this is what she had to say in regard to the Minab strike that our Tomahawk missiles took out the 163 children, I think it was, little girls. Anyway, here's what she had to say, and this is, you may have heard it, but it's worth repeating. Here it is.
I'm a former intelligence officer. I spent 17 years in the U.S. Army. I've held assignments as an intelligence officer at the DIA, the ODNI, NSA, and DHS. And of course, as an intelligence officer in the Army. I've held a top secret clearance with a polygraph, just to give you an idea of my access and experience when it comes to these assignments. One of my many duties along the way has been counterterrorism. I was a counterterrorism officer in the U.S. Army. And I want to give you the definition of terrorism as we use it here in the United States. Terrorism is the premeditated use of violence or threat of violence against civilians or property to induce fear, coercion, or intimidation aimed at government or societies to achieve political, religious, or ideological objectives. Given this information, we're going to focus back now to the bombing of Minab. 165 little girls were killed by United States Tomahawks from a United States vessel in the area of operation. A modern Tomahawk missile is equipped with onboard cameras, real-time targeting imagery. Satellite imagery is constantly collected by several intelligence agencies, several countries, in real time. Let's talk about what that satellite imagery would show of the Minab little girls' school. Murals. The entire school was surrounded by colorful children painting, flower, bright color murals surrounded this school. And it was, without a doubt, a school if you looked at it through satellite imagery. It was, without a doubt, a school when you looked at it through the onboard camera of the Tomahawk missile. It was clear. Now let's talk about when the attack started on Iran. 10 a.m. At 10 a.m., Israel, along with the United States, began attacking Iran. By 10:20, the staff at Minab school began evacuating the children. Strike one. Hit the school. The kids moved to the prayer room. Strike two. Hit the prayer room. 163 kids dead. Strike three. Hit nearby.
I got to pause it right there. She's holding back the tears and choking it back. And yes, there were 3 strikes on that school.
Multiple sources, including intelligence reports, regional sources, and U.S. officials are required to confirm a target for the U.S. Navy and military operations to ensure accuracy and reduce errors. This is how it works. This is how it worked that day. NBC News reports USS Sprunitz, a guided missile destroyer, shot the Tomahawk. Commander Leigh R. Tate, Executive Officer Jeffrey E. York, commanded USS Sprunitz, who shot a Tomahawk and killed 165 little girls.
Okay, I'm going to jump in once again. Do you think that they would have done this without input from Bibi Netanyahu in Israel? Without coercion? Do you think that this was an independent decision? I don't think so.
After this was done, the same destroyer conducted a replenishment at sea with USNS Henry Kaiser back ready to fire. March 4th, March 10th, and March 18th, they replenished their firearms. They replenished their weapons. No pause for review. No pause for investigation. No calls for this command to appear in front of Congress and report to the American people why we just bombed a school knowing it was a school. Nothing. Silence. Lies. Excuses. Who are the terrorists?
Good question. Now, she goes on for another couple of minutes, but I'm going to let it go there. You get the general idea here. So the question is, who's calling the shots? Who is it that gives these orders? How is it that we end up in these situations here? Because I guarantee you, I don't believe, if Israel was not involved, do you think we would be doing this? Ron Paul's been screaming about this for a long time. And, remember when he was running for president back in 2008 and they ridiculed him and they basically, they manipulated the election. I remember when there was the Republican debate and, they had Fox, I forget who it was that was moderating, but he was from Fox. And when they asked a particular question, I think it was about the IRS or the Federal Reserve or something like that. And Ron Paul, of course, he's been wanting to do away with the IRS and the Federal Reserve. And, of course, when he said so, they left the microphone open and giggled and laughed. He's crazy. Yeah. And this is what they did to Ron Paul. But it's funny because he ran again in 2012 and the same thing happened. And now people look back and say, gosh, Ron Paul was right. They go to Ron Paul now for his opinion on a lot of these things. Well, here's Ron Paul's opinion on what's going on over there in Iran. Here's what he has to say. Okay,
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the weekly report. Call off the Iran war. Just walk away. After several days of increasing threats against Iran, including social media posts like, finish the job and take the oil, no mercy, President Trump has over the weekend called off a planned major escalation in the Middle East for now. The U.S. is locked and loaded and ready to go against the Islamic Republic of Iran at levels of military terror, strength, and power not seen since World War II. He wrote on his social media account, despite this, we have just been asked by Iran and other Middle Eastern countries to hold off any attack in that perimeter of a deal has been agreed to, he added. Iran denies any communication with the U.S. and has threatened retaliation against energy infrastructure in the region if its energy infrastructure is attacked. Such destruction could plunge the world into an economic depression. Iranian retaliation, including against critical water desalination plants, could also depopulate U.S. allies in the region, including Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and others. Saudi Arabia's Mohammed bin Salman personally called President Trump to request he not escalate against Iran. According to various media articles, the U.S. is running dangerously low on missiles, especially interceptor missiles such as the Patriot system. Our ability to protect our military bases in the Middle East appears to be gone. Reportedly, President Trump has warned by his top military advisors that a ground operation against Iran would result in a high level of U.S. casualties and would have no guarantee of success. Already, the official totals are 18 U.S. service members killed and more than 700 injured in this operation. Over the weekend, the U.S. military completed its evacuation of a major military base in the Kurdish region of Iraq. This follows similar evacuations of virtually every U.S. base in the region, including the home of the U.S. Fifth Fleet in Bahrain and safe U.S. bases in Jordan. The entirety of U.S. military power in the region appears to have been relocated to Israel. The war, which was supposed to last a couple of weeks and pay for itself, is entering into its 6th month, and the price tag so far is over $100 billion. A war that was started to thwart an Iranian nuclear threat that, according to U.S. intelligence, didn't exist, has become a war to open a waterway, the Hormuz Strait, that was open before the war started. Things are so bad that, according to the Washington Post, the U.S. general in charge of the U.S. European Command sent a message to senior Pentagon officials saying that without another Navy destroyer, he will be forced to choose defense of the United States homeland over that of Israel.
Let that sink in for a second, folks. I mean, these officers are now faced with a decision: are we going to defend Israel or are we going to defend the United States? This is what it's come down to.
How is defending a foreign country over our own country even a choice?
That's right.
The U.S. attack on Iran is the most unpopular major U.S. military operation in history and is becoming more unpopular by the day. President Trump's polling numbers have been dragged down to the low 30s by the conflict. Midterm elections are 3 months away. President Trump is rapidly running out of options in his war of choice against Iran. There is no path to victory in this war. It is now only how to manage defeat. That's why the Constitution does not allow presidents to start wars on their own. Get out now, completely out. The foolish war on Iran must end.
Yep, he's absolutely right. And he was right all those years ago. I wonder where this country would be right now if Ron Paul had been elected president. I wonder if the economy would be better. I wonder if we'd still have the Federal Reserve. I wonder if we would still have the IRS. I wonder how much better off America would be right now if they hadn't railroaded Ron Paul. You know, I was real supportive of Ron Paul back in 2008. As a matter of fact, for those of you who've been following this broadcaster's bouncing ball for all these years, you may recall that back in 2008, when I was still doing the Power Hour with Joyce, I had a 40-foot conversion bus. It was an old MCI bus, and I was traveling all over the country doing remote broadcasts. And as I traveled from coast to coast, I could see all kinds of tent cards and bumper stickers and billboards all supporting Ron Paul for president, Ron Paul for president. I didn't see stuff for Hillary. I didn't see it for Giuliani. I didn't see it for anybody except Ron Paul. The overwhelming majority of people that I talked to wanted Ron Paul to be president. But he got railroaded. So where are we now, folks? Where are we now? Well, I'll tell you. Of course, we know that Israel, this little country that represents 0.02% of the global population, has been leading many, not just the United States, but many other countries by the nose, been leading them around by the nose. And look at the result. Look where we are right now. And so what's going to happen? We know that Israel wants the United States to fight their wars. And a lot of people don't want to sign up. It's funny, you know, in Trump's first term, under the Obama administration, recruitments were way down. Okay, Trump got in there, and now all of a sudden, patriotism got a little breath of fresh air, and people were signing up, and they were meeting their quotas. And then under Biden, it dropped down again. Well, now with what's going on with these military endeavors, and the lack of support for President Trump and his administration, nobody wants to sign up anymore. So what's the solution? Well, they want to start talking about a draft. Yeah, a draft. How do you feel about that? Let me see here. I had a clip here. Where is it here? I'll tell you what, I'm going to find that. I'm going to take a quick break. I've got a couple of little things I want to share with you. I'll be right back.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get more tank by visiting our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors button. It'll take you down to an area where you can click on Get More Tank, read all the specifications and details about how and why this fuel catalyst works so well. And again, I've said it many times, it's not a fuel additive. It's a catalyst. It makes your fuel burn more efficiently, which basically translates into, number one, you get more power. Number two, your engine runs a lot cleaner. And number three, and this is the big one, after a couple of tanks, your engine will adjust to the new efficiency and you start getting better mileage. And you'll see anywhere between 15 and 20% improvement in your mileage. Do the math, folks. If you make one purchase of Get More Tank, it's $20 when you use the promo code RedPill100, RedPill101. And after you've run a couple of tanks, you will see anywhere between 15 and 20% increase in your mileage. And it depends, of course, upon your make, model, and year of vehicle and your driving habits. But if you can get 20% better mileage, do the math. $20 gets you 5 tablets, 1 tablet per tank. That means the 5th tank is free. This is a no-brainer. It's a win-win-win situation, folks. So please, check it out. You won't be sorry. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and get more tank. Okay, it's 33 and a half minutes past the hour, whatever hour you happen to be sitting in. These are the WTF reports. I'm Dave VonKleist, and I'd like to hear from you. Do you think we should get out of Iran, get out of this thing, tuck tail and go home? Give me a call, 215-867-8255. Again, 215-867-8255. So, Bibi Netanyahu obviously has got got most of our Congress and the Senate by the short hairs. And we've seen how President Trump has been treating him, pushing in his chair when Bibi sits down. So is this the United States of Israel? If it's deeds and not words, then I would say, yeah, a lot of people are saying the same thing. But the bottom line here is that Bibi he wants his Greater Israel project. And now there's saber rattling about him going to war with Turkey. Oh my gosh. They can't stop. They're on a bloodlust. They just want to kill and expand their territory and then kill some more and expand more territory. And at the same time, they want to weaken the United States and bring us down. And that seems to be working just fine, for Bibi. So when's it going to stop? Well, it's not enough for Bibi. No. He's coming after your kids. All right? Yeah, he wants the United States to implement a draft so we could send our guys and gals over to fight Bibi's wars, because They don't send their IDF soldiers overseas across the border. No, they're too busy killing Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank and now going after southern Lebanon. So they got their hands full in their expansionist programs. So as far as their foreign wars are concerned, they want your sons and daughters to go over there and fight. Anyway, here's a clip about the draft.
Yahoo doesn't just want to merge militaries. He wants to reinstitute the draft because they believe it's the Goy's right to die for Israel.
We Jews are God's chosen people, and the Gentiles must learn their purpose in life is to fight and die for Israel.
Yeah, that was a rabbi saying that. When are people going to get it? When are our members of Congress and the Senate going to pay attention and realize that they have an obligation to represent the American people and not Israel? Oh, I forgot. Israel gave them lots of money. So, what price your patriotism? I mean, I'm telling you, the members of Congress and the Senate that are taking money from AIPAC, and it's not just the money, it's also the blackmail. And we all know about the honeypot videos. We all know about the Epstein file. And Epstein's just one of many, many honeypot operations around the world. Anyway.
You're 18 to 26 years old. It doesn't matter. You will automatically be enlisted in December. This forced registration is only for Americans. Our greatest ally now says they're no longer interested in joining us in the strikes against Iran, even though they started the war. At this point, we're the United States of Israel. Only 8 out of 50 state senators voted not to merge militaries together. Remember, our children look like that so they can do this for greater Israel. The real problem is our leaders are sitting at tables that they should be flipping. Other news, Tel Aviv Ted's paid respects to Lindsey Graham today, who got his last dying wish.
Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day.
You get it, folks? So when do the American people roll up their sleeves and get off of their couches and start going after their elected officials in Congress and the Senate? And it's not just the federal level, it's also on the state level. Because many counties and many states, they allot money to go to Israel. I mean, I forget who it was, but they did an analysis on every state and how much each state is sending to Israel. I think the state of Texas, it was $17 million right then and there. I don't know. But anyway, so that's the issue about the draft. Yeah. So they want to send your sons and daughters. Well, Shannon Joy also had something to say about this draft issue. She says, over my dead body, and I don't blame her. Go ahead, Shannon, tell it like it is. Oh, there we go. Oh, come on. Okay, start it over again, and here we go.
Show up to become part of
one more time.
They will assess no shows, people who don't show up to become part of the human grinder machine of the military-industrial complex as Donald Trump pursues all-out nuclear war with Iran. Your sons and daughters fed into their war machines, these disgusting pieces of what? Simulating the draft. When they war game and simulate anything, we should pay attention. We should be paying attention. And if they can't get our children through mass injection, they'll get them through the war machine. Disgusting. And by the way, if your child gets drafted to go fight Donald Trump's war in Iran and become human cannon fodder for nuclear war, they also will suffer the indignity of forced vaccination because all military personnel go through multiple rounds of vaccination, likely COVID as well, right? So any of you who escaped that in the first round of the military operation that was lockdowns and Operation Warp Speed, they're going to get your kids in the second round because they're going to send them to war. 18 to 26.
Yeah, that's what's coming, folks. Unless the American people rise up. I know that's hard to deal with. But the bottom line here is that it's up to us. It's we the people. So, and I've been saying that for a long time. I keep on quoting from the Constitution, and it says right there, But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security. Now, they didn't say to ask them to leave, didn't say to try to vote them out, didn't say to form a congressional hearing. No. You throw them out, and that's the most polite way that it could be said. You know, I mean, when you throw something out, you discard it, you delete it, you eliminate it, and you can put any other substitute any other word in there. You get rid of it. I personally like the word eliminate. Use your imagination on that one. But Shannon Joy was just talking about this draft. And we all know what happened when the pandemic was happening, and we saw videos of some of these military people forcibly being held down and vaccinated or injected or poisoned against their will. That's coming. If this draft comes in, every guy and gal who gets drafted will be forced to take these hokey-pokey thingy-dingies. And we all know what that has resulted in. As a matter of fact, remember during the pandemic, they said that if the pilots on the commercial airlines were not vaccinated, they were grounded. So if you wanted to keep your job as a pilot, you had to get the hokey-pokey thingy-dingy. Well, glorioski, what do you know? These pilots started having some very serious problems, some of them passing out while they're in the cockpit. Yeah, and so now they've changed their tune. Now the pilots are suing the Biden administration. Listen to this. And go ahead, play.
Is being delivered to the Federal Aviation Agency and the CEOs and chief legal officers of all of the major airlines as well as their insurance companies, putting these aviation entities on notice that they have ignored and acted in contravention of their own federal aviation regulations, namely Part 14, Title 14 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Section 6513, and its guidance, which essentially prohibit the medical clearance of all pilots who have taken non-FDA approved products. As you may be aware, there are no FDA-approved COVID vaccinations commercially available right now in the United States, which essentially means that every single pilot flying right now who has been vaccinated for COVID-19 in the United States is flying with non-FDA-approved products in their system. These do not fly regulations and guidance, as they are known, clearly state, and I quote, do not issue, do not fly. Aviation medical examiners should not issue medical certificates to people who are using these classes of medications or products. Non-FDA, FDA approved less than 12 months ago. The FAA generally requires at least 1 year of post-marketing experience with a new drug before consideration for aeromedical certification purposes. This observation period allows time for uncommon but aeromedically significant adverse effects to manifest themselves. The reason for this prohibition cannot be overstated, and in fact was just delineated in the federal rules I cited to you. We cannot have aeromedically significant adverse events affecting these pilots while they are in the sky, because that doesn't just pose a risk to the pilot themselves, it poses a risk to every American, hundreds of Americans that are flying in that commercial jet with them. At this point, the FAA, all I can say is they have turned a blind eye, not just to the fact that these pilots are flying with newly approved products in their system that they should wait a year before allowing to occur, but with wholly unapproved FAA products in their system. Worse, the FAA is allowing certain carriers to actually mandate these vaccines in violation of not just the regulation I just stated, but also black letter federal law, the Emergency Use Authorization Act, which prohibits any mandating of a product while it is still in the experimental phase. At this point, we are aware of aeromedically significant adverse effects that have occurred and will likely keep occurring with these pilot populations. There was one pilot who will be speaking shortly who, once he got up in the sky, quote, felt an extreme burst of pressure in his brain, which caused him to become dizzy, shaking, nauseous. and then to essentially black out at the controls such that he had zero memory of landing that plane.
Wow. So let me get this straight. During the pandemic, pilots were being forced to take a vaccine or they were going to be grounded. Okay? Now, here we go, 6 years after the fact. If you have the vaccine, you're going to be grounded. So it's damned if you do and damned if you don't. No wonder they're suing. And no wonder there are so many cancellations. Have you noticed that? I mean, what was it last week? Didn't American Airlines shut down completely? Maybe that was some computer problem or something like that. But I know that a lot of the major airline companies now are having problems keeping their pilots. So, and it's all because of Israel. Yes, because of Israel. I believe this whole pandemic thing was a result of Israeli influence. And it just doesn't stop. And meanwhile, you know, we're over there in Iran because of Israel. We're in another forever war, hopefully not. But now the entire global economy is crashing because of Israel. And maybe that's their plan. I don't know. But the bottom line here is that the military-industrial complex, and we know that they don't make money unless there's war. They don't want global peace to break out. They'd all go bankrupt. So they have to keep the war going. And I said many years ago that if peace were to break out on a global scale, the military-industrial complex would collapse. And so would the economy. And I did a little song about how they are so addicted to military conflict. And here it is.
So you say
You're addicted to war. I'm sorry, but that's the truth, folks. That's what it comes down to. And what's really sad is that, like I said, a lot of these leaders, they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They want absolute control of their population. And they want to be able to use your sons and daughters as cannon fodder to support their war effort. Because, Shik-Shing, I'm sure Shik-Shing, Raytheon, Shik-Shing, Boeing, Shik-Shing, all of the companies that manufacture the weapons of war lobby the elected officials to push our country in that direction. And keep in mind, lobbying is bribery. So what price patriotism? What price freedom? What price truth, honesty, integrity? I guess everybody has a price. And if you look at, go to AIPAC and type in any representative that you want, whatever state that you are in, hey, look up your state representatives and see how much money that they have been paid by AIPAC. And some of these representatives have gotten millions of dollars. Some of them sell out their country for a few, maybe 10 or 30 or maybe 50,000. Okay, is that the price? The price of your betrayal? This is what we're dealing with, folks. This is treason. It is wholesale, irrefutable, undeniable, pharmaceutical-grade treason. And nobody wants to say that word on the halls of Congress, but that's basically what it is. It's not even basically, it is what it is. Our elected officials are committing treason for cheap money. You know, there's that old joke, and it's a little bit off color, but, the guy goes up to a beautiful woman. He says, hey, would you go to bed with me for $1 million? And she says, what? He says, I'm serious. Would you go to bed with me for $1 million? And she stops and thinks about it. And she says, well, oh, okay. He says, all right, well, I'll tell you what, would you go to bed with me for $1? And she says, wait a minute, what do you think I am anyway? And he responds by saying, we've already determined what you are. We're just negotiating a price. You ever hear that? Well, how does that apply to your member of Congress or your senator? And by the way, if you haven't called your senators yet, do it. Do it. Do it now. Do it today. Because they're going to be voting on this NDAA with Section 219, and there's another one in there. I had it pulled up here. I forget what the number is. But basically, it is turning over our entire military to Israel. It merges our military with Israel. Now, there are some folks out there, a Patriot Dad, I think his name, he calls himself on social media. He says, it's not a merger, it's not. Yes, it is a merger. Yes, it is. And that makes me question about, because I was following this guy for some time. Yeah, seems to be a real patriot. Patriot Dad, I guess so. And then he comes out and says, it's not a merger. Yes, it is a merger. So I implore you, call your senator. They're going to be voting on that, I'm not sure, but it's coming up soon. And I'll tell you, the Israeli officials, Netanyahu and the Knesset, they are desperate right now to get that through. Because once it goes through, you can't undo it. You can't undo it. Well, you can, but that's when the violence kicks in. But the bottom line here is that if we allow this to happen, we are absolutely screwed. Your sons and daughters will be drafted, they will be sent overseas, and they will be forced to fight on behalf of Israel, not in defense of our country. And I find that really interesting that Pete Hegseth decided to change the Department of Defense into the Department of War. I don't like that idea at all. I think it's a very, very bad idea because our troops come back maimed and destroyed. And, I know this. Remember the first Gulf War? And this is why Joyce Riley and I were the American Gulf War Veterans Association trying to get help for all the veterans because they came back mangled and they came back severely damaged. And I wrote another song. I don't think I have time to play it right now. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But the bottom line here is we all know that the war machine now is basically a hamburger grinder. And when you take your sons, all your daughters, and you let them sign up to the military, there was a time when I would say it's an honorable thing to do because we were an honorable country. But now I look back and say, guess maybe I was wrong about that. I mean, in all the years that this country has existed, we just celebrated our 250th birthday here. Do you realize there's only about 20 years out of the 250 that the United States was not at war? Let that settle in. Why is it that we've been involved in so many conflicts? How did that happen? Who benefits? And you don't have to be a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon to figure that out. It always comes back to the bankers. It always comes back to the military-industrial complex. You know, I mean, this is what it comes down to. At some point, humanity has got to wake up and realize that when you hurt other people, you hurt yourself. And this is why this whole thing about Israel, so many people have been brainwashed. I mean, and I've got that clip of Bibi saying that exact same thing. Let me see if I can pull that up if I have enough time. Bibi was talking about how you have to brainwash. If you want to have somebody blow up a bus, you have to brainwash. Let me see, where is it? Here it is, about his morals. Here's Bibi Netanyahu. Listen to this. Okay, I got just enough time to play this clip. And here it is. Bam.
Get somebody to blow up a bus full of children or a building full of innocent civilians. You have to grind it into their minds. You have to wash their brains. And tell them there's a higher cause out there. It's religious, ethnic, racial, whatever. And for that higher cause, you can disregard all the normal rules of morality.
Yeah, you can disregard the higher rules of morality if you brainwash these people. He said it. This is not Dave saying this, folks. This is Bibi Netanyahu coming flat out and saying the quiet part out loud. You have to brainwash these people so that they will overcome any sense of morality whatsoever. I mean, this is standard operating procedure for these monsters. And I see all these videos that are being posted on social media of very comely young women in their IDF uniforms, and they are celebrating the fact that they've gone and killed innocent men, women, and children, especially the children. They love to do it. They think that they're serving a higher cause. Because, of course, these children are going to grow up and become terrorists. Yeah, right. All right, this is a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Anyway, if you're listening on BitChute or Rumble or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, you know what to do. I ask that you click like, share, subscribe, and spread the word. Word of mouth is the best advertising. And you can also support this broadcast by doing business with our sponsors with Pick Up a Wave Watch and Get More Tank. That stuff really works. And if you don't need that stuff, you can make a donation at our GoFundMe. We've got that at our website, TheWTFReports.com. All right, that said, that's going to wrap it up for today's Wednesday Hump Day, Don't Be a Chump and Crump Day version of the WTF Reports. So until tomorrow, God bless you all. Stay safe, stay free, and God willing, I'll see you tomorrow.